Hello, all. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. And thank you for showing up 2 hours later than normal. Sorry about that. But yes, I was in retreat all weekend with my own teacher. 8-hour time difference. It was all online. So I was up at like 2:30 this morning. So I could make the first session. And then the second session is more reasonable, 9 o'clock my time. But obviously it runs into satsang time. So, so I am fresh off retreat and just didn't feel like canceling completely Tea with G today, and just thought I would just go ahead and see who shows up and who's got questions on their hearts. So by all means, please ask whatever is on your heart. Before I start doing this, I have a million things that I could go off about because, but the truth is, there's only one thing on offer here. There's only one thing I'm ever talking about, really, in a million different ways. Whether the presentation of it revolves around emotional healing, and sense of well-being, or if it revolves around a direct inquiry into who we actually are. At the root of it, it's always the same. There's at the root of all emotional and psychological problems is the simple fact, the underlying cause is that we have identified ourselves with what in fact is just the conditioning of the nervous system, or the energy system, if you prefer. The human organism is a trainable, programmable, organic functioning thing, just like every other critter on the planet. Be they very primitive, a one-celled organism, or up down the line, mammals, reptiles, everything. Everything is simply a functioning of nature, of all the different elements of nature interacting with each other constantly. You cannot separate the environment in which any organism lives from the environment in which it lives. Our whole idea that you can is really an insanity that has pushed us humans to to the brink of our own destruction. The underlying cause being the sense of identity that is identified with what in fact is nothing but conditioning. Conditioning is made up of our culture, of our upbringing, of our history, of our ancestors, and all of that. All of which are actual experiences we have. But the question that is at the heart of self-inquiry is that who I actually am? Is that me? Am I nothing more than the functioning of conditioning? And if you take conditioning apart, you find it's just a functioning. That's all it is. There's no self there. And by that I mean there's no self-awareness. There's no self-cognition. There's no capacity to step outside and look at it. Like a salamander or a dog, they respond to the environment, they adapt to the environment, they're trained into the environment, but they have no capacity to recognize that they have been conditioned, they have been trained, they are just a bundle of reactive patterns to the environment in which they live. And you cannot separate the environment from the functioning of the body, our human bodies, and every other animal on the planet. You simply can't separate the two. They are in a constant conversation. We've developed this capacity to create the delusions. Basically, that's what they are, a delusion that somehow this organism is separate from everything else. There's the whole universe out there, and then there's me here. Universe and me, as if I'm not part of it, as if I'm not an integrally connected to it. Well, your body is. And I could really go off about that for a while as to how that all works. And I do when I teach emotional healing classes. But for our purposes here, which is aimed primarily at self-inquiry, the main question applies. Is that capacity we have to look and see conditioning as conditioning? All of the reactive patterns, and that includes all of our sensations, all of our emotions, and all of our thinking, at least at first, thought patterns, memories, everything. I just saw Christina's comment. I'll get to it in a second. They're all a part of the conditioning that is simply your little body as a little human interacting with the environment, adapting to the environment, simply trying to survive as best it can and get as many of its needs met as it possibly can. Something in us is able to recognize that. People talk about what is it that makes us uniquely human as opposed to a dolphin or an elephant or a squirrel or anything else, or a plant for that matter. What makes us different? Well, it's not opposable thumbs because monkeys have that, otters have that. They're far cuter than us. It's not indoor plumbing. It's not our use of tools. It's none of that. We seem to be the only ones that can actually step outside and are aware of being aware. We're aware of conditioning. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to recognize that conditioning can't recognize conditioning. It's just, the AI, this artificial intelligence, which is, for me, is more like simulated intelligence, because I reserve the term intelligent for that which is actually sentient, that is self-aware. It's not self-aware. AI can make some beautiful pictures. I use some AI generated pictures. I think the one that's the thumbnail for the show right now is an AI generated picture. But it can't enjoy it. It can't look at it and go, wow, that's beautiful. It can't look at a tree and say, wow, that's beautiful. I doubt if I will ever see a poem as lovely as a tree, Emily Dickinson. And it's absolutely true. The tree can't even appreciate itself. We do. We have this unique capacity. But with that capacity came the possibility, the capacity to create a completely imaginary, generated sense of reality, the world, disconnected from anything reasonable. That capacity to create a delusion is really what it is. Create a sense of a world that doesn't actually exist, completely within the mind, is also part of conditioning, actually. And even when we can grasp that my various conditioned patterns, right? That if I react a certain way, a blue shirt makes me nervous because my dad always, wore blue shirts when he hit me or something. All of that stuff, all of that, we can begin to recognize that these are patterns that have just been built into the body before I had any capacity to do anything about it. I can see how that conditioning is not myself. And I can really walk on a path to become separate from it. What's harder to see, because it's much more subtle, is the sense of I that got created sitting on top of that conditioning and created a whole sense of self, a world, interactions, people, places, and things that are completely within our imagination. It is this, it's known as the ego, the sense of a separate self, the person, the false self, the illusory self, Maya, the great illusion. All of that refers to that. An image completely constructed in our minds that we mistakenly believe is ourself. That the image I'm holding in my head is actually who I am. And because of the power of this delusion and the unknown power that we all have, the power we're really ignorant of that when I believe something deeply enough, as an assumption, I believe this is really true, I will live my life as if that were actually true and have all of the experiences that I would have if it had been true, and it isn't. And yet, because of this essential ignorance, because these things are happening in our lives, we think, well, it must be true. I always end up in bad relationships. I must be bad with relationships, or I must be there must be something essentially wrong with me. Well, there's something essentially wrong with the image we have of ourselves. And the fact that we don't recognize that that image, because it's held to be true and not scrutinized, is going to be experienced as if it was actually your life. And that's, it's a big one to swallow, but even a taste of that opens the door to the potential for freedom from all of that. But it's not something that you, oh, I get it, I'm not my conditioning, and it vanishes. It's conditioning. It's like a computer program. It just keeps doing the same thing over and over again until it's reprogrammed. So there's this element of transcending your conditioning that means transcending the image in your mind. Seeing that the image in your mind isn't actually who you are. And seeing it enough, with enough faith, because you've glimpsed it, or you've tasted it, or you just believe the teacher or the guru who tells you that you endure a period of time where all the evidence is still going to be pointing towards this image, that it is you, that is who you are, and you just better well accept it or do your best to try to improve it, etc., etc., etc. Now, a very simple and direct very potent, but kind of difficult for folks to grasp, to work with, really. It's a very simple statement that I think first place I heard it was Nisargadatta, maybe Ramana. I certainly heard it from my own teacher. And that is simply, if I can perceive it, it can't be me. Obviously, anything I'm perceiving, here's my iced coffee, right? I'm perceiving it. There's me, there's it, there's a, yum, I'll take a sip. There's a subject-object relationship there, right? So it seems self-evident. If I can perceive it, it's not me, right? Now that works really well out here in the world, right? The computer here, the computer here, and I got the headphones. I got the Christina pointed out, Evan. It's actually the same mic, but the little headset that I use that I plug into it is they're very fragile and they break all the time. So I'm just using the thing itself. I'm assuming it sounds good for everybody, and it's a wireless thing. I can sometimes hide it under the shirt so it isn't as obvious, but then sometimes the cloth rubs against it. Nobody likes that. But anyway, she said, I hope this is the one. That sounds like us all in love, doesn't it? I hope this is the one. Yeah, how many times have we said that? Anyway, where the hell was I? Right. Conditioning. That if I can perceive it, it's obviously something other than me. Now, those of you who are, been on the spiritual path and heard about, oneness and we're all one and that sort of stuff, great. It's true, but it can, too soon. Take your time. Before we can get to the oneness side, we have to be clear as to who we are. That our sense of identity is not identified with something that you can perceive. So whatever I can perceive, it can't be me. Right? The flowers behind me, the tree, the window, the shirt, I can perceive it, so it's not me. That the subject-object relationship. Go everywhere, everybody agrees with it, everything's based on it. I can look at this thing over here, that thing over there. They're not me. Now, when we get inside, doing a meditation, closing your eyes, and all of a sudden you're in your inner world, which is the sensations, not just sight and hearing, but feeling, just the sensation, the energetic sense of your body. Plus emotions, which are happening inside. There are emotions out there, and thoughts, far more intimate than anything out there. That's where we are slower to grasp that if I can perceive it, it can't be me. But are not emotions, although they're like right here, can be very intense and in your face, are they not also something you are perceiving? The same thing with thoughts. Are they not something that you are perceiving? When I hear that voice in my head that I don't like, or I have an image that pops into my mind, or a memory, right? Or anything, is that also not being being perceived by you? Isn't that, while it's much more intimate, isn't it actually the same thing that's going on? That there's something in here that is cognizing all this, and even all the stuff coming in from the senses, the touch, the body itself. Isn't it something that I am perceiving? Now, this is not, this kind of a question and this kind of an inquiry is contemplative. It's not just a meditation. It's not just something you think about, or excuse me, not you just kind of like meditate or take it for granted because the teacher said so, and they're always right. No, it's something you like. Wait a minute, and you see it for yourself. Right? Non-dual self-inquiry is not a belief system. It's not a philosophy. It's rigorously precise, but it's not a science. Right? That is one thing studying another. But it's based completely on your own direct perception that it becomes self-evident. I am not what I perceive. Follow that all the way back. And you'll find yourself constantly being invited. Yeah, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? Well, wait a minute, I'm perceiving it. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm perceiving it. Can't be me. Now that begs the question then. All right, if none of my thoughts, even the ones I've cherished, the ones about me that I really like, the ones about me I really hate, are not me, they're not referring to me, they're just an image in the mind, then who am I? And that then kind of opens the door to the other side of that question. Just the logical conclusion that if, in fact, whatever I perceive can't be me, nothing perceived is myself, then a bigger question, can the perceiver itself be perceived? And this is an inquiry. Right? This is self-inquiry. I'm the one perceiving. And I'm saying, if I can perceive it, it can't be me. Including all the thoughts I have of I. Every I thought I have. I'm too old, or I'm too young, I'm too rich, well, nobody said I'm too rich, I'm too poor, I'm too beautiful, I'm too ugly. All the I thoughts are also perceived. So, me, I am perceiving. That's self-evident, isn't it? You exist, and you're perceiving. Can you be perceived then? Can you step outside of yourself, look back and go, you can't. So, if the perceiver cannot be perceived, how is it that I know myself? You see, with that, those two phrases, those two simple things, if I can perceive it, it can't be me. And can the perceiver itself be perceived? All of our associations, all of our memories, all of our assumptions, all of our conditioning, all of our experiences, all of our past, all of it is set aside. One fell swoop, all human knowledge is set aside as being irrelevant to the deep question of who am I. It cannot answer that. It can only give you a perception from some other perspective. It cannot tell you from right here where you are. Anybody got any questions about that? Because this is the heart and soul of non-dual self-inquiry. Who am I when I have absolutely no mental, physical, emotional, or experiential reference point? My only reference point I have is I am. That's not me perceiving something else. It's me just knowing myself. And I am perceiving. So I know that I exist and I am conscious. But that's not the same knowing, is it? That is not one thing knowing another. It's you knowing your own being. This is a non-dual recognition. And this is what non-duality is. That's all there is to it. Just demystified the whole thing for you. It's simply knowing yourself directly, not as one thing knows another, not subject-object relationship, but the direct perception of myself, which is not dualistic. I know that I am. And you go, yeah, yeah, okay, now what? Well, if that's the only thing you can know for sure, and you can just be with that, maybe out of that one reference point that we can trust, maybe if you hang out with it long enough, it may just begin to expand and become more than we had thought. Like when they pointed the Hubble telescope at the tiny little bit, little section of the sky where there was believed there was nothing there, and after I think it was about a month of just focusing on this one tiny, it was like 1/32 millionth of the actual sky available to us, just tiny little thing, and in that little tiny bit were 3,000 galaxies. Galaxies, not stars, galaxies. We're talking tens of billions of stars in it. Because they looked at that place, they stared at that place long enough. And boy, this has been going on, hasn't it? And the sadhana of, or practice that goes with non-dual self-inquiry is to train yourself to be able to bring yourself back, your attention back to this single point of focus of my own being that I am self-aware of, that is not dubious. I don't question it. It's and how I know it itself is a mystery. But our attention, the focus of our attention, has been trained to go anywhere else but. It's always looking for something happening. Well, there's lots happening. Of course, in this day and age, my God, it's like, I mean, many of you are probably getting notifications right now about some email or a text that came in, or Facebook or Google's got yet another ad to show you, oh, you didn't like that? Well, how about this? Constantly vying for our attention. And so this is a practice. It's going to take effort to retrain yourself, to take attention away from that and put it on this place where you can't see anything, but you know it's true. And folks, if you can do it, if you're even willing to do it with earnestness for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, 10, right? Once, twice, maybe 3 times a day, it will impact your life. Ramana said that to do it just for 15 minutes a day was all it took, and that in 4 or 5 months you would see the fruit. You would see that, and I've seen it happen even quicker than that. Nobody can tell you who you are. Because even the most enlightened being, a Buddha, the Buddha himself could tell you. But you'd have to go, yes, but I'm perceiving it. It's not me. The only answer, the only true, reliable answer that can come to the truly, earnestly held question, who am I, must come from you. It has to. Only you can answer that. And just to give you a hint, not only you're the one who answers it, you are the answer. You are what you've been looking for. But it's not a thought. It's not an idea. It is nothing experienced. It is a different kind of knowing altogether. And on that note, I'm going to go back. I'm going to invite questions about absolutely anything. Back to the front of the list here, say hello and just say once again welcome and how happy I am to be here with you all. Especially having just the wonderful, wonderful pleasure of being with my own teacher for last 3 days. Yeah. Even though I had to be up at 2 a.m, I didn't even notice. That wasn't always the case. I've been to many, maybe over 20 retreats I've done with him. Those are the ones that are all online. And sometimes, most of the time, I wake up and I'm anxious. I just want to be there. And the more I see through the false sense of identity, the more I want to be there. False identity does not want to be there. Let's see. Oh no, I'm tired. Yeah, there's always some reason to avoid it. But anyway, you guys are here, so you're not going to avoid it. Rosario, my man. Why aren't you in the self-inquiry sangha? Some guys, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Ava. Oh, Ava. Yeah. Ava's been with me for a very long time and was really on the devotional path before really encountering non-duality as it actually is. I think, was it 15 years, Ava? 6 months of the year you spent in India at Sai Baba's ashram. I mean, that's devotion. That's dedication. And she still shows that kind of devotion, even though it's not directed in the same way that it used to be. But the true seeker eventually dissolves into that which they're seeking. The true seeker doesn't actually become a finder. The seeker and the seeking all just kind of merge into that which is sought and disappear. Because what you're seeking is yourself. And the non-dual process is simply removing everything that isn't you. It's not me. If I can perceive it, it's not me. Neti, not this. No, I'm not that. I'm not that. Even if the most glorious, angelic being of light came down and said, I will reveal to you who you are and show you the universe and everything, you go, yeah, it's wonderful, it's great, but I can perceive it. It's not me. Just a special note there that those who are kind of devoted to the plant medicines to bear in mind. Yeah. They can take you to a certain place, but remember, if you can perceive it, it isn't you. only you can reveal yourself to you. Just pretty amazing. It comes from the inside, really from the inside. The best a teacher can do is go, pothole, trench, cul-de-sac. Don't bother. And you go, are you sure? Yeah, but go ahead. Yeah, I've been in enough cul-de-sacs and just sprained things falling into potholes that I go, you know what? I'm just gonna believe what the teacher says. That is, I'm going to follow the pointings. Yeah, not believe. It's not the same thing. I'm going to follow the pointings, true them out myself. So that's always the case. You are the free moral agent. You must do this for yourself. David and Elaine, love to see you guys. Just always so great. Always so great. Whenever I think about you, I think I should do another retreat. I should do another couple days online. Like this. Although since I started the Self-Inquiry Sangha, I haven't done as much, but I should. Because some people just don't want the once a week thing. Some people just want to show up for a few days of concentrated effort. So, yeah, add that to the list. Sebi Stacker, Ali, so good to see you. So good to see you. Yes, continuation for level 3 coming soon. We are going to do something. There's Christina. Christina. I have so much I could say about you. I just love your honesty and your forthrightness, and you're just very real. Very real. I love it. Yeah. Jill, you're amazing. Let's see. Jonas, my man. Talk about dedication. Yeah. I've even put the screws to him. If he was gonna, what's the word? Wimp out? Yeah, wimp out, I think. I don't know if that's a word anymore, if it ever was over in Europe. But if anybody was ever going to wimp out, it would be him. So again, I am so privileged to have people who are truly dedicated to this. We're really, it's amazing. It's so gratifying. I'm not a teacher if there's nobody to teach. And then I'm a street preacher or something. If the guru speaks in the forest, does anybody hear him? Right? That kind of thing. Ice cream. Even though I'm a vegetarian, ice cream. Yeah, ice cream. Yeah, chocolate fudge brownie, Ben and Jerry. Yeah. I'll take it any way I can get it. Anyway, hello to you. Have you been here before? I probably would have remembered that name, but welcome. It's your first time. I hope you have a question about this kind of thing, or maybe it's an introduction. You've never exposed to this kind of thing before. At any rate, let's see. There's Christina's comment about the new mic, which is actually I have to put a couple of magnets on it. It doesn't stay very well, but now it is actually. It's actually a pretty good little system. It wasn't even that expensive. So, Crispin, so good to see you. 2 weeks in a row. You do have to send me a message and give me an update on your son. Yeah, it's I didn't forget. Yeah. It's funny, I forget almost everything these days. I used to have like this perfect memory. I could watch a movie and just recite all the dialogue by heart. I got through school, not because I studied, because I just remembered everything. One time through, and I like had it. Well, that's all gone. That's all gone. We don't do that anymore. But the stuff that matters, I find, sticks. Yeah, the stuff of the heart. You know, it's rare. Even if somebody, I haven't talked to somebody about this or worked with somebody in some way for 10 years. I, I remember all of it. Yeah, the energy of it. So I can forgo, the the functional memory. Yeah, it's the heart memory that gets bigger. So I same to you. Same to you. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, Susanna. Look who it is. Indeed, it is, and look who it is. Lovely girl. Nay, nay. I love you. Oh my. Yeah. Yes. Another one well on her way to a happiness doesn't that doesn't fade away, get overwhelmed. Yeah. So I will be opening registration for the next levels for those of you in level 1 and level 2 very soon. Just need a bit of a break. I did, and some time with my own teacher, which was just really wonderful. Let's see, Levi. Wonderful. Just these familiar faces that are just making me go, oh, it just feels so great. So great. Tomas. Yay. Yay. Tomas has snuck into my level 1 emotional healing class. And I'm going to put you in again just because you didn't get enough of the live ones. But yeah, yes. Yeah, it's so great. So great. Christina, you keep answering my questions before I ask them. Shame on me. And now I have no questions. Um, is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? Right? So when we have no questions, and yet there's still a sense of something missing or something needed, just don't be in a hurry to try to articulate it into a question, but really stay with that discomfort. Something. There's an instinct in us. That place that I pointed to earlier that simply knows I am, that knows your own being. It's one of the ways you know you're in touch with it is there are just these feelings like something's missing. I'm not getting it. It's because that isn't coming from the mind, and maybe you can smell the difference between something there's something inside reaching for something because it knows it's out there, which is different. That kind of not knowing is different than the mind's not knowing. Just I don't know a fact or something. I can go to Google and find it out, or an opinion of some sort. This has a more existential kind of energy about it. That it's like it's something inside reaching for. Well, it's reaching for itself. That's what it's actually reaching for. It's reaching for the truth of you. It is that which knows. I know that I am. Beginning to expand outward, right? To kind of bring all the children back home to that kind of knowing that is not conceptual. It just knows. And it knows in a way that it can intuitively, spontaneously understand even the most complex things that we run into. There's just kind of a sense that kind of zooms right in on the most important part and completely ignores and bypasses all the extra stuff. There's that knowingness. I know that I am is the true nature of our real intelligence. So when there's a sense there that you're looking for something and you don't know what it is, that's actually you are reaching out to the part of you that knows. Because obviously, if something's missing, something knows that it's missing, which means it knows what it's missing. What it's missing is never a thing. It's never a thought. It's never a concept. It's always, well, it's always an aspect of you. It's a truth of you. So, we'll see if they still have no questions by the time we get to the end. Christina. Daryl. Beautiful sunny Maryland. Love you, man. That is all. I love you too, Daryl. Wow. Crispin. What or who is asking those questions? On what plane level does the question, if I'm not my body, who am I, arise? Well, in order for this question to even engage us, right? Well, if I'm not my body, then what am I? Who am I? If I'm not my thoughts and all of that, then who am I? Right? Notice it just very naturally arises. If we have truly pondered and taken in and come to see for ourselves that just because it's my thinking doesn't make it true, and I am something other than my thinking. That the thinking is going on, it's going past. Some things stick and repeat themselves. Some things just kind of zoom by. Nothing is ever there all the time, yet I am there all the time. Now, if that engages you, then something true in you is, well, it's waking up. It's looking at things differently than just somebody who never questions it or hears that and goes, yeah, well, doesn't get any kind of sense of its importance or usefulness. So the questions is actually arising from you. It's arising from the answer, which is of who you are, which can only be answered by you. So who am I does in fact arise out of the depth of yourself as you awaken to the fact that you are not what you perceive. You are not merely your thoughts and the like. And if you're willing to follow that and recognize that, well then, okay, if I'm not the sensations, the emotions, the thoughts, or the experience, any experience, that doesn't leave anything left. Because that's what I've based my whole life and my whole sense of identity on. But if none of that's relevant to this, what am I left with? Well, it's void. There's nothing there, right? Which is uncomfortable. But where does that arise from? Well, the only place it can, you. Right? So make sure that if you've had experience with non-dual self-inquiry, make sure that this doesn't become kind of just kind of advaita, just a cappuccino awakening, right? With these interesting things. Well, then, who's it arising to and where is it arising? Don't make it conceptual. Make it, well, wait a minute, okay, where is this coming from? I mean, if this is like existential, you got some skin in the game. This isn't just intellectual. Make sure that I really need to know, right? Because all of my ideas of who I was, who I have been, and who I am have all led to suffering. They've led to disappointment. They've led to confusion. They're not stable. I thought this was true. Now it's not true. I really want to know what's true. And I'm willing, to go through the, to do the exercises to get to what's true. Then you can look at that and say, well, where does that question arise from? And if you're so inclined, follow it back. So you just follow what I was saying. Who am I? Now, in yourself, that question, when it appeared in your mind, go all the way back to where it appeared, when the thought just came up. Or maybe, I or another teacher somewhere along the way, you heard that thought, and something about it grabbed you. Right? It wasn't just, who am I? Yeah, I read that, and something or other. I am that, and then dismiss it. But a thought arose, but also something else arose that said, take note. This is important. Follow those back. Where did they come from? Now again, you'll look and you'll find this place that was there before thoughts. It wasn't though as the thought was just like in a reservoir somewhere, right? Somebody had it in the cabinet, right? And they came by and handed it to you, right? Here's a thought for you that's been, sitting, waiting for its turn. It arose out of nothing, but apparently nothing, but nothing, or just nothing perceivable. Oh, if I can perceive it, it can't be me. Can the perceiver be perceived? Yet, I'm not perceiving, yet out of this is coming all of this. Maybe it's not nothing after all. Maybe it's just not perceivable. It's a non-material substance. What is it? And what's there? What's aware of this void? And it's not perceivable. And what's aware of the thought that arises and the sense that this thought is significant? There's one other thing there, isn't there? You. You're there. Mix that up into the stew. Just and let your attention rest there. Our attention has been trained to look for a concrete, tangible answer. It does not like the answer that you can't perceive it. So, because the mind can't go there. Boom, it's full stop. From that point on, you are not in the realm of the mind anymore. And because of our habit energy and the way we've all been trained, we're looking for something concrete. Well, I don't see anything there. There must not be there. Okay, so now off to the mind where it's going to be looking around. But take it to heart. No, it's not perceivable. Everything other than me is perceivable. I myself am not. And that's not odd, right? Your eye can't see itself. It can't. You've never seen your own face. Never directly. I mean, I could see my face on the, you can see my face, right? I can see my face on the images because I got another thing up there that shows me what you're all seeing, right? And you can look in a mirror, you can make a video of yourself. none of those are what you've actually seen. You yourself have never seen that, ever. It's secondhand, isn't it? So if I can only rely on my own direct perception of myself for a self-image, then no picture I have of myself is me. Right? But there's nothing weird about that. You know, eye can't see itself. The ear doesn't hear itself, right? What's the inside of your mouth taste like? Fingers can't touch themselves. Lips can't kiss themselves. A scale can't weigh itself. A knife can't cut itself. So this place of not being perceptible is not that mysterious. It's odd because we don't like it, because our minds we're used to, concrete. Give me the answer. I'll put it on the test and get an A. But you can see there's a whole other realm of inquiry that's got nothing to do with that. Christina, who I've watched go through all sorts of phases and thoughts about this whole non-dual thing. It's so, you're great. It's something I can't explain in words. All of my old ways of living don't work anymore, but I don't have any new ones. There's a desire and need to trust grace and surrender that life takes care of life. I just know that I am. Yes. Yes. How do you know that? Remember, that is the heart of non-duality. I just hate it when people complicate the whole thing, this whole thing. Right? Since you cannot know yourself, as I keep banging on that, as one thing knows another, that means that way of knowing yourself is just not relevant. So if it's possible at all to know myself, it must be this kind of a direct knowing. So you start with that. Well, I know that I am. Not because I see myself in the mirror, right? I could completely shut off all of my senses, all of them, totally. Like in a sensory deprivation tank. If you ever done one of those float things, they're kind of fun. It didn't really, wasn't the kind of thing I would repeat, but I do know people like the whole experience where the water temperature is 98 point, just like your body. So it's like your body kind of disappears. You can't hear anything. It's totally black. You can't see anything. All your senses are basically deprived. Yet you know you are. Nobody told you that you are. You knew that you were long before your parents, you became like conscious and thinking about it. There was a sense of your own being. And there was a point at which you knew I am. So it's a different way of knowing than the subject-object relationship. This is Vedanta. This is non-dual recognition. So I just know that I am, right? And there is this desire and need. I like the way you said that. I want it, but I need it. How do you know that you really just want to trust grace and surrender to what? Life takes care of life. What is life? I mean, this body's life. It's connected to everything. It's part of the environment. All this. I mean, life is this incredibly, this swirling of stuff, and it does seem to take care of itself. I don't need to worry about the stars spinning or the grass growing. But this knowing of myself. There's a sense there, isn't there, that in this knowing, it's more than just Oh, that's great. I know that now. Check. That something about this knowing holds answers to that kind of trust, that kind of that sense of grace, right? Where life isn't a burden. It isn't just struggle and suffering, but it's gracious. The thing is that on this path to non-dual recognition, to full non-dual recognition, I mean, everybody here has had it to a certain degree, right? That a sense of something beyond, right? That something has hooked you, and you come, and coming all the time. just got a taste for it, just like I did 53 years ago. There's I just lost my train of thought, but something gets activated in us, that there's something about it's supposed to be gracious, gentle, easy. It's weird to not be in. I'm not supposed to be in conflict with life. How did I get in such conflict with life when I am life, just like everything else? And the sadhana, the practice, that's the thread I was trying to pick up. That practice is removing everything that you're not, that you didn't recognize. All these ideas we've had about ourselves, they've taken root. They've been trained into us. They've been programmed into us. So there's a lot going on, consciously and unconsciously. The unconscious has to become increasingly conscious. Remember, at one time, all of it was unconscious. Now it's become like for a dog or any kind of animal, and just life in general. It becomes increasingly conscious. All the ways in which we can say, now that I can see what was unconscious before, that is, I can see now what I was not seeing then, that also is not me. So we're slowly peeling away that which is not. Which those of you who are in my EFT classes, my emotional healing classes, recognize that's what we're doing. What if this isn't the truth about you? What if that was just an assumption? I mean, it's all I'm doing. It's just kind of a therapeutic application. It's really where it came from, because my immersion into non-duality came before all the stuff about energy healing and tapping and all of that. So just stay with that. When the stuff comes up, right? Emotional healing is required. We do that. But see, you're in level 2, so you're going into level 3. Level 3 is the bridge between these two worlds, where I begin to tie up the emotional healing with this whole realm of non-dual self-inquiry. So love you, Christina. Crispin, my teacher is Muji. Many people know him. He's very well known on the internet, but it's really amazing how little understood his actual teachings are, and as he's gotten older, even though he's just a couple years older than me, he's gotten more and more wanting to focus simply on these kinds of questions, and I actually kind of feel the same way. But I also recognize that there's this need in many of us to have kind of the emotional preparation to get there. But yeah, it's yeah. The getting to the point, there was a dimension for me. Well, I understood a lot of this. had enormous breakthroughs and insights, and could even articulate it. There was a dimension there that I didn't see, and I would not have seen it if he hadn't shown it to me. Yeah. You need a teacher until you don't. So, simple as that. Yeah, and I was just able the last couple of days to kind of really true up some fine points as you get into the last leg of the sadhana. Those very, very subtle areas. And so, yeah, that's it. Needless to say, I'm infinitely grateful to him, and just my love for him is just overwhelming. Nay, I believe that everything is the self expressed uniquely. Very good. I want that to go beyond believing, though. I want you to see it. I want you to look around and see it. And I know you do, to a certain extent, right? But not fully, and that's why the rest of this also confuses me. When it comes to concepts and non-dual acknowledgement, I feel like there's a place for acknowledging, appreciating, expressing, discovering our unique qualities. But if I were to say I'm musically inclined, isn't that attaching to an identity or acknowledgement? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful question. I love it. And I'm so glad you're in the classes, Nay. So glad. To be able to work through the emotional stuff. I mean, basically, you were a prisoner of war in your childhood, and just did anything you could to survive. And so there's residue there that can kind of cloud it. Right? So here's the deal. I was naturally musically inclined. Came to me very easily. Right? I would just hear music and I'd write that, and I still do it. I still love it. Now, that just happened, didn't it? If you're musically inclined, you're musically inclined. If you're drawn to art, you're drawn to art. Completely innocent, isn't it? Now, concrete, real example. I was really drawn to music. Loved it, and I was really good at it. I was always first chair. I was always ahead. I had one teacher in college dismiss me for the whole duration of the classes. I can't teach you anything. I mean, I'd already absorbed it. And this was only second year music theory. So you just go right. You have an A for good. You just go right. Because it was happening so quickly and so naturally. And it was shortly before that I'd had that big experience I call it the night on the bridge, but you will hear about it if you haven't, where everything was just exploding in all directions. Now, I didn't make that, right? I didn't create that. That's all just happening, right? Now, there was also a need in me to all the other stuff that comes with life. You got to make a living and do all these kinds of things, right? And simply because as a young musician, not only the kind of the formal training part of it, but I grew up in the 60s with rock and roll and the blues. I was not playing John Philip Sousa marches. I was playing rock and roll. I mean, I was a rock and roll drummer, and I wanted to be a rock star. I wanted, I became the image of a musician, right? And notice the self-image of the musician is completely different from the inclination for musical ability. Musical ability is there, right? Whether I'm a musician or not. Right? And And so I got really attached to being a musician. So so that became a sense of identity. It gave me a sense of purpose. It gave me a sense of self. I knew how to act. I could act like a musician and dress like a musician and, you know, get wasted like a musician and all of that. So you can see the difference between them. So after, getting to a point where that, and even after my big spiritual experience, that lingered for quite a while. It took me a long time to see through that, to really see the nature of identity, and that how it attached to a lot of things I did in my life. After music, I did the computer stuff, right? Kind of got in a sense because there was success there, and I was getting feedback and like. So I can spot now all the things were just natural abilities, unique qualities, like doing voices for voiceovers and video games, right? right? Character voices and stuff. I could just do it. I don't know how, I just suddenly started talking like this, right? Because I could. I'd hear it. I'd imitate it. That's not identity. That's simply an acknowledgement of this uniqueness that every form is. But the sense of identity is that sense of within us of needing to be somebody, needing to be somebody, right? Have an ego, right? Which is a necessary part of life. That's kind of the deal. We need to have a sense of self that is functional. Right? This is the struggle adolescents and teenagers go through, trying to find a sense of identity that actually works successfully enough they can, make a living, have a life, find a mate, do all that kind of stuff. So it's actually necessary to have at least a relatively functioning ego that allows you to function in life. Child abuse and the like makes that really difficult to do because you're so constricted and hemmed in, or totally rebellious, like I was, which makes you attached to the opposite. But I think you can see clearly that they're not the same. The sense of self and a sense of identity is overlaid onto what in fact is simply your natural inclinations and interests and what you're drawn to and what this body can do, right? And what it was designed to do and what it can't do. We're naturally drawn to that kind of stuff. But what I also want to say about the need for the ego, because if the ego is really, there's no space for you to have anything that's you. The ego becomes increasingly unstable. Mine was. I just didn't have a moment's peace. There was nothing that I wanted that was allowed. If I liked it, it literally got thrown out. I mean, walked home from school once. I think I was in kindergarten. Still would actually walk to school and back. And my bike had been thrown in the garbage. There wasn't a garbage can. I pulled it out of the garbage can. I put it in. I put it back in the garage. Didn't think anything of it. And the next morning, I got up and it was gone. My mother had gotten up, right before the garbage man came, got in the garbage can so it would take it away. Why? I didn't have another bike. There was, she was nuts. She was obsessed. And if I liked it, she was going to get rid of it. She wanted to control absolutely everything. So my ego is really being squeezed. It's no wonder I just got totally wrapped up in drugs and all that sort, just clinging to anything that was mine. Right? It's not a healthy ego. But because it wasn't a healthy ego, maybe that's why I was, when I did, there was the opening to have a spiritual experience and to have a life directed towards kind of figuring all of this out. If it's too damaged, so I've known people and worked with them informally who were it was so bad that that it couldn't develop at all. They could not function in the world at all. They were on Section 8 housing. The authorities would actually come twice a day to make sure he took his meds and the like. Because if he skipped them, he'd end up doing really, really crazy stuff because there was nothing solid in him whatsoever. Eventually took his own life, which was probably the only way out for him. Right? So you can see how this all works, but that the sense of self is created by conditioning is an overlay on top of what's actually really here. What's actually really here is the uniqueness of every single being. Be it a gerbil or a whale or a human, everything has its uniqueness about it, just this one-of-a-kindness, which is part of just the extraordinary realization that we all came from this same imperceivable source. All of this emerged from this one place, but this infinite, this one is not one numerically. It's simply the allness of everything. It is boundless. It has no form, definition, character, qualities, totally empty, which is why it is inexhaustible in the uniqueness of the forms that come. It never sits still. The form's always changing and develop, and it never repeats itself, ever. So can you clearly see the difference? And what we're discerning here, and what you're going through when you're taking the classes, is this kind of separating out what's really me, on two levels, and what isn't. The conditioning, all this stuff, identity, right? But what's actually here? Well, yes, there are these incredibly beautiful characteristics here. Incredibly beautiful. Stunningly beautiful. Bewilderingly beautiful. Unique in all space and time. Nobody else ever like that. Nobody else ever again like that. Nobody in existence now like you. Like these qualities. And then you can see that those qualities are qualities of you. They're kind of like the perfume. They're the emanation. They're revealing you, but you're not limited even to those. And that you're something even bigger than those qualities. But the closer you get to that source, the more pure and true and genuine those qualities become. They're now freed from conditioning. They're not contaminated anymore. And then you really, you know real self-love because you recognize that this is just, it's the self loving itself because it's like fucking amazing. If I can put it, I think, in probably the best terms there are, the best uses of that expletive I can think of. How is that for you, Nay? Lovely. A lovely Nay. So happy you're in class. Everybody loves you so much. Wow. And I'm so glad you're there because you can see that, this has happened to all of us in some degree. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. I've said before my prayer that it becomes more true every day. Lord, thank you for this disastrous life. If I hadn't had experiences that I had early on, I wouldn't be qualified to sit here and talk to you all. I wouldn't have had the same thing. If I had actually gotten the things that I wanted, yeah, maybe in a couple lifetimes I'll be sitting in one of your classes while you're revealing it to me because there's just no way. this, that if I had lived, right, because it was really abusive, self-abusive, God knows what I would have become. So now I look back at it and it's just God closes the doors. But not because it's trying to, but it's trying to like this way, and then you insist on going that way. Okay, just go along with until another opportunity comes, and you know some of us are a little bit more stubborn than others, but it's always gentle, it's always benevolent, and the fact is, and this is the fact of grace, when when the alarm clock goes off and it's your time to wake up, it's time. Nothing is going to stop it. And that waking up means a separating out from who I think I am, who I've believed myself to be, who I've been programmed to be, who my ancestors have been, all of that separation takes place. And because we get identified and we cling to our identity, that separation, while in fact is liberating us, feels like it's pulling us apart. Well, it is, but what it's doing is pulling out the weeds. And actually, liberating, there's a beautiful rhododendron in the front yard of the place that I live. Just for the heck of it, there's two of them. One's huge. I decided to like trim back, make them healthy. One is just completely encased with these, with this very intrusive. I think it's called bramble boysenberry or something. It's not really, can't really eat it. Doesn't really make fruit or anything like that. But it just kind of takes over. It's completely surrounded this thing, and it's so sticky. It's like stick to everything, and I'm kind of liberating and watching the life come back into it. I only got about half of it done. I mean, it's taken hours to clear that stuff away. It was so thick, cutting away the dead stuff. And by the next day, fresh green had begun to appear. Some of the leaves, they were all standing up. It's like, yes, yes. Well, that's what's happening. You know, I'm out there with you, and we got the weed whacker. We're just kind of peeling those vines off to liberate you to be who you really are, which includes all those wonderful, unique qualities. And guess what? You've got unique qualities that you don't even know about yet. The discovering of these unique qualities, which are aspects of the self made manifest in form, will be going on for eternity because it's inexhaustible. The self loving the self, inexhaustible love, inexhaustible intelligence, inexhaustible character, quality, forever. It's our destiny. Love you, baby. Eva, yes. Gee, 15 years, every 6 months. What a gift it was. Yes. Christine, I feel the same about you. Also, can't wait just to be here in Sangha. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, such a privilege to get to spend time with my own teacher. I am so hoping to actually get over there and be there for a while in person. I haven't seen him in person in 9 years. It's all been online. So it's a special deal when you can do that. I'd love to get us all together somewhere. Yeah, not as easy to do. Yeah. Anyway, Ava, just imagine when being there first time, I did not have any spiritual knowledge, but somehow I was interested, and I did not even know why such interested. Yeah, yeah. What draws us? conditioning isn't drawn to this. The dog is not at all drawn to trying to understand why it is that he wants to roll over when the master says roll over and holds out the treat. He's not going, geez, why is this happening? Why am I interested? Why do I care? Why doesn't he chase his own goddamn ball? Right? I mean, it doesn't occur to them. It does to us. I mean, isn't that like wow? It's not like wow. um, but it does. It does. Why that night I had on the bridge? Why was I so drawn to it? Right? I had experience before that, couple years before that, out of nowhere. Where did that come from? Well, it comes from grace, from the real you. Just the hint being thrown out there. Huh? Mm-hmm. Something inside just kind of like gets drawn to it. That's the knowingness. Yes. Yeah. Daryl, hey G, what about a live in-person retreat? I would definitely attend. Oh, a lot of people here would attend. The problem is we're all over the damn world. I don't know how I could do it in such a way as to make it possible for people to come, right? Everybody who wanted to come. Plus, I'm not financially loaded. To do something live, there's a lot of upfront money that has to happen for all the plans and all the stuff. It takes a lot of work to get it together. I'd have to hire somebody to organize it, as well as front all the money for renting the places in advance, and there's all sorts of stuff that have to be done. It is. Those of you who know me know that organizational skills not my forte. So it's I would welcome it. I mean, I always keep myself open to it, because it is very special. It is very, very special. And if, even if you can work it out, even some people do it, in one part of the country, or this country, or one part of any country, where there's enough people that will come together for a few days. I'll get there. Right? I can go most anywhere. My daughter-in-law works for the airline, so I travel very cheap. I don't eat a lot. Right? I don't have to make a huge amount of money at it. Enough to cover expenses and have some left over. So it wouldn't have to be very expensive. But I mean, if it could even be in somebody's home or some place nearby that was, not expensive to, hang out there for a few days, I'm more than open to doing it. It's not like it has to be a major event where, get 100 people to show up. I'm willing to hop around where people are. So if anybody's out there who's so inclined, I'm happy to. I'm happy to do my part. Yeah. Nay, you deserve the break, G. Well, thank you, Nay. Ava, how about new levels? Level 4th? Just waiting for that so much. Yeah, 4th level. I don't think there's. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna think about it now. Davey, sometimes mind sticks to one negative thought, and one tried to release it, but still that thought linger on. Psychologist said this is a obsession. The only suggestion and methods. Where am I being? What is I am? Who's asking these questions? Get obsessed with these questions. Would you land to in mental asylum? Well, no. You're not going to end up in a mental asylum. You would have by now if that was going to happen. There's enough presence of mind that that you can notice. There's a feeling about obsession, isn't there? There's a feeling of like, right, release the thought, you know. Well, easier said than done, for sure. In a case like yours, I just highly recommend you get into my EFT classes and with the EFT group, because there's a group of people there. A lot of people are here are also doing that, working through the emotional stuff as well. Because the thing is that there's this expectation that somehow I can make these negative thoughts go away, right? And you can't. The more you try to make them go away, the bigger they loom and the more powerful they get. It is cultivating a disinterest in them. Because if you can recognize that, forget about the who am I question. Let's just start with something really simple and really, but direct. And that is, there's my thoughts and then there's me. And it is a thought that lingers. It keeps going. And they say it's an obsession, right? Okay, which means I've got some kind of a relationship with this thought, right? Now, the very fact they say it's an obsession, right, means that it's not natural. This is not what you have to be, right? This is not something built into you. You're stuck with it forever. There's nothing you can do about it. It means that for whatever reason, in the way you were raised and the experiences you had and the karma you brought into all this collected together, that your body mind got programmed in such a way that this thought just keeps coming, creating suffering in you. So if you just start with the fact that, look, it is a thought, right? And I'm so used to being afraid of it, hating it, trying to get rid of it. Every time it comes up, I get in a street fight with it. It is, in fact, a thought that is occurring to me. Now, I just want you to see that. I'm not trying to make a thing out of it. Just want you to see it, that there is the thought and there is you, and you are not the same. And had you had a different experience in childhood, that it wouldn't be there at all, right? There might be a different obsessed. We all have them. This is not unusual. Everybody's got these recurring thoughts. Yeah, I mean, there's not a single soul who comes to me to work with on anything, on any of the things that I teach that do not have these. They just keep coming and coming. The thing that's important is not that the thought keeps coming, but when the thought comes, I am reacting to it in a way that makes it keep coming. It comes up to be fed. I feed it very high quality, GMO-free food, right? Fully organic, leafy greens. Here you go. And it's back. It comes back again. And that's the nature. It's the relationship with the thought that we want to begin to put our attention to recognize that I don't have to give this so much damn importance. Yeah, it sucks. There's that voice. What happens if I just consistently pull my attention away from it? And that means I'm not trying to get rid of it. I'm not trying to change it. I'm not trying to anything other than it keeps coming up. There it is. I'm just going to do my best to not be engaged with it, to not form a relationship, to neither be afraid of it, to not want to hold on to it, to not want to get rid of it. Right? No relationship whatsoever. as if it was a voice yelling in another room, right? And yet yelling at you using your name, but you knew it wasn't you. I want you to treat it like that. And just try. Just do your best to try to do that. To remove your attention away. You'd say, well, where do I put my attention if it comes away? Well, if you can, a mantra. Breathe. Just breathe. Right. This is where tapping is really, really useful. It helps the nervous system. It also gives a place to distract your attention, to kind of break the mesmeric hold that it has. To do a pattern interrupt would be the psychological term. Do something physical. That's always very helpful. The thoughts are obsessed. Do jumping jacks. Right? There's somatic exercises that you can do. Do stretching. Do yoga. Lift weights. Do things with the body as well. It's a conscious effort to remove attention from it so that it begins to lose its power. And it will. And eventually, it'll have so little meaning when it comes up that it'll be like just a cloud passing by, and eventually it won't come up at all because it's dissolved. Remember, it's a function that's happening, and the program is this thought comes up, it gets this reaction, right, which substantiates thought coming up, right, and then it goes away for a minute, and then it comes back. That's the cycle. How do you break that cycle? Most people say, I got to get rid of the thought. Well, that doesn't break it. That is the cycle. Negative thought comes up, I react, try to get rid of it. That's the cycle. How do you break that cycle? Don't try to get rid of it. Don't fight it. Just bring your attention somewhere else. Yeah, I know you're there. I know you're there. Right? Just like an annoying neighbor or something. I know you're there. Put on your headphones. I recommend physical things, even just stop and taking 3 deep breaths, because engaging the body is really, really almost essential, especially in the beginning, because these are patterns that are that are literally programmed into the body. So that's my recommendation, as well as get your butt into one of my tapping classes. Yeah. You will be in good company. Everybody will know exactly where you're at. They'll have their own stories they can share with you. None of them are in a mental institution. None of them are destined to go there. They're kind, gentle, supportive people, and their kindness and compassion comes out of direct experience because they've been through it. Christina, you said you had the first part of your message. My comment disappeared. It's weird. Well, what was it? Let's see, Wesley. So this one, need to expand, become more spacious. Okay. So anyway, Tavi, thank you for bringing that to me. Thank you. Yeah. Time's an hour 40. Planning on 90 minutes. Don't you dare make a comment, Christine. Oh, some of my students know me very well. Nay, could you touch on the solar plexus, personal power, and the role they play on the non-dual path? Can we express personal power without being attached to egoic identity? Yes, but it's important to understand the genuine, authentic sense of empowerment is simply a deep sense of your own value and your own worth and self-knowledge. When you are expressing yourself as you actually are, which is happening just naturally, right? Right. When the conditioning has dissipated to the point where the authentic you is now free to come out, right? It just expresses itself naturally. Now, if you're looking at it psychologically and you're wanting to get that kind of authority, the ego is trying to get personal power, which really means the ego wanting, the ability to just express itself without the prerequisite of self-examination. I don't like the word personal power because of the use it's gotten, the motivational speaker kind of thing, because it really is just ego. As the conditioning falls away, the disidentification with what you're not falls away, what you are, all those natural qualities that we were talking about earlier begin to emerge on their own, right? You don't have to do anything, right? And because they are genuinely you, authentic, right? They have their own authority behind them. They're unassailable. They're you, and they're you, and so they're the truth of you, the true expression of you, and there's nothing more powerful than the truth. You don't need to make it happen. It's just happening, and it's you, and that is the reality of that is, we should say, the power of expression inherent in your true self. This is the power of the self-expression of the self, the limitless self that is the self of all of us. Right? Now, when you're looking at something like the chakra system, which I actually talk about in level 3 of the EFT, if you look at the chakras, the solar plexus, they're I've done stuff on this. I don't do it as much anymore, but it's a useful model, right? It's not that there are these actual little swirling vortexes of light, right, in the body. I look at them as like character aspects of consciousness or archetypes of consciousness. I even gave them archetypal names, and I call the solar plexus the storyteller. Right? And it is, there's definitely, you can sense in your body, they would call energy centers and things like that. You don't want to make too big a deal out of them. I've sensed other ones. I was working with a Sufi master once, and I was just seeing this. I was talking to him about this kind of energy, right? And the connection between the heart, it was like the head through the heart down to the groin, and then back up again in this kind of emotion. He says, "Oh yeah, that's one of the other energy patterns, at least in Sufism." He said, and I just sensed it. I sensed this energy there. Now remember, anything perceived is not you. It's part of this realm of manifestation or expression. It's not essentially who you are. I want to always emphasize that, right? So when you are, the more you know who you are, the less ego there is. There's no ego in it. It's just, this is what I am. Simple as that. The ego is the sense of being a separate self, trying to make something out of these, of the qualities that are just natural, to substantiate an image in the mind that isn't actually real. But that image, that identification with that, wants power because it's weak. It's inherently weak. And so it always wants power. Wants even more power. I mean, it's what most people go into politics and try to run other people's lives, because they want that power, because they don't know who they are, And that's a feeling of inherent powerlessness. So try to grab power from the outside. So the solar plexus is associated with the sense of identity. And so you'll often feel when the sense of ego is challenged, it'll be kind of felt here, but also some gut instincts as to this isn't quite right. So it's kind of mixed up space there. I don't want to make too much of a big deal out of that. I do kind of talk about it therapeutically because it has some uses for helping people with energy healing, but it is but you don't want to make too big a deal out of it. I call it the storyteller because that's all the ego is. It is a made-up idea as to who I am. It's completely imaginary, but then that imaginary idea is believed to be myself, and I believe it into existence. I basically give it, I give it life. So you want to express personal power without ego, right? You find your way out of the person into the authentic you that is impersonal. That is, it isn't just this personal possession you have. It's just aspects of your true nature. You couldn't get rid of if you wanted to. They're just you. You don't have to make a big deal out of it or anything. It's just you. There's no ego in it. And you begin to spot how I'll have a great quality, like I talked about earlier, my musical ability, and the ego feeling very insecure and weak, wanting a place in the world and seeing rock stars with this great place in the world and women screaming for him, and I'm 14 years old going, I want that. Yeah, give me more of that. The ego then attaches to what in fact is simply you. Without the ego, what happens? Well, this just develops however it's going to develop, like any plant in the garden. It becomes, in a sense, impersonal because it just has its own life within this broader sphere of the life you're experiencing. Does that help, Nay? Ms. Nay? I just like calling you Nay. Let me know. I know you will. Yeah, I know you will. Dave and Elaine. Ramana Maharshi said that when the I thought arises, to follow it back to its source, to find it cannot be found. The I am can be another thought, albeit subtle, and a re-identification as consciousness, but it's another form of separation. So should we focus on what lies behind the I am? Well, you should, yes. Yes, definitely you and Elaine should. Because you've seen that there is the I am thought, right, which is perceived. But for many, that thought I am is a very important step along the way. But not everybody's at that same place, right? So when you begin to see the thoughts as not yourself, and you begin to see what I can if I can perceive it, it can't be me. You very naturally begin to look at even the spiritual thoughts, non-dual thoughts. It's like, well, non-dual, well, that's another idea, isn't it? So what's really behind that? And the I am is another one of those. Because identification takes the form of I am this or that, starting with I am the body. So all identification is I am attached to a particular quality, combined with the sense of instability that is inevitable, and fear that's inevitable with a sense of self detached from the real self. That's just needs to get something from the outside of it to feel safe and stable. In this process of kind of working our way back, right, from all the way out here in identification back to less identification, we eventually see that this I am thought, I am this or that, right? It comes back to just, well, wait, just they all have one thing in common. I am. And the I am thought becomes the focus. And from there, you can see that there's a sense I am that's there even before the thought I am is there, right? Before I'm thinking it, I mean, the dog has a sense of I am. I mean, a sense of existence. They don't have the capacity to actually recognize the non-dual capacity to see that I am, to recognize I am, to know that I am. That's us. But you can see that even before the thought, there was a sense of I am and a recognition that I am, and then the thought of I am. But even that subtle now, pre-thought, prior to thought, sense I am, is also being seen. So, yes, you want to be focused more on the sense I am, the knowingness, than on the thought of it. Although when the thought I am this or that comes up, sometimes we can get caught and you'll find yourself thinking of yourself as the seeker trying to get out, trying to get back to the self, much subtler ways, making use of non-dual language and that sort of stuff to create yet another person. Right? But your attention wants to go there. And then recognizing this very subtle place that even the sense I am is being perceived. And what I ultimately am cannot be perceived. But the fact that I am perceiving that sense I am means whatever that is that can't be perceived, I am that. And really, it's as far as you can go. Grace will take you the rest of the way, right? Which is only yourself, right? I mean, that is the place really where you're just surrendering. Just surrendering to what is. You'll notice things come up. They just kind of pop up, and you just see another subtle way in which identification has operated. And you don't even make an issue out of it. You're just kind of like, it's not me. I see it. It's not me. It's not me. It's not me. And just, I see it. Yeah. I see the fact that I can see it. That too. I can see the seeing. I'm knowing even the perceiving is a subtle movement to me. You continue there. So the I am becomes a sense of presence without the sense of I am, where all experience and the knowingness of it are synonymous and all arising in the same place. Yes, yeah, until even the sense of presence. If we can talk about it, it's perceivable, isn't it? What's perceiving that can't be perceived? That becomes the question that you simply offer up there. There's Balyani put it, God takes the last step on the journey that never happened. It's a place that's just humble. It's humbling, but that's not even the right word. It's just love. It's the best word I can. It's just love. Which is itself is love without an object. Love prior to the experience of love. It's prior to peace, to beingness, to I amness. It's prior to wisdom. It's prior to intelligence. It's myself. It's yourself. I can't even go there without kind of going. Just get without going away. Yeah. Oops. do it. I may need to get a new one of these because I just can't seem to get the top on it tight enough. I've just like splattered green stuff all over myself in the chair. Again. See? From guru to buffoon, yes. We are all bozos on this bus, folks. Christina, lately I've recognized a subtle need to expand, to become more spacious, as if I'm staying in a box or in a space, and it's becoming so small, and I have no room to move, and I need to tear the walls down. Good. Stay with that. This will be a very strong impulse to want to do something to get out of the box. Right? I want you to stay in the box. I want you to just stay with the feeling of the box and stay with yourself. Because I don't want you to get out of the box. I want the box to disappear into the space itself, which is not small. Right? The I that has no room to move is not you. And I want to just squeeze that little sucker until there aren't any walls anymore. Because there are no walls for you. There's no walls for the infinite self. So the wall is an experience that is being imagined and created by the false sense of self, which is the wall. That is the box. It's not in a box. It is the box. I'm so excited for you. I love you too, Chi. I say, nay, clinging to anything that was mine definitely resonates. Yeah. You don't have to cling to what you are. Isn't that great news? Nay, you don't have to cling to these things. Holding on to what you have. Let go. You'll find you don't have to cling, because what's you cannot be taken away. Isabel. Oh, I love you, Isabel. That sounds like my ego, very much. My ego, very much, sadly, dysfunctional in relationship to my environment, society. A friend of mine, rare one, mentioned this today. Rare that someone utters such things. And I said right away that I can relate so much. That I never got to develop properly. Well, I didn't either, love. Both of us have long-term PTSD, fibromyalgia, and these, yeah. I didn't get to develop either, no. Yeah, and that's exactly what happens. And as I said before, I say, Lord, thank you for this disastrous life. Because it's what allowed me. I tried all sorts of different ways to get through that, starting with metaphysical healing and the like, various kinds of psychological stuff, different kinds of healing modalities and the like. Couldn't do it. And I eventually recognized that the reason I couldn't do it is because there was a different way that was opening up for me. That it actually started 53 years ago, that night on the bridge, but it had to mature to the point where that I saw what the real containment was. Yeah. And the real inhibitor to the growth. And I found that what was inhibiting the growth was only inhibiting the growth of the false sense of self. And that my real destiny was to grow out of the false sense of self. And in order to do that, the false sense of self had to become simply unbearable. Which it did, yes. And I can feel it. I can feel when I'm identified with. It's just this, I can smell it now. Okay. Father, Lord, Mother, please purge me of ego, merge me with you. And every day that prayer becomes more sincere. And at first it's, purge me with all the bad parts of the ego and merge me with you with all the good stuff. Then little by little, it's like, oh, that really, no. It becomes more and more of a total surrender. Because, right? PTSD. What is PTSD? We've talked about it. If you want more, you and I could talk privately. I will have the group, the group opening up again for those that have already been through level 3. It's trauma, right? It's the fancy word for trauma. The body stuck in a particular reactive pattern, right? And it's not you. It's the nervous system that has been, right? So your nervous system has long-term, complex they call it, complex PTSD, CPTSD. And as a result of this energy distortion, you end up with, a CFS, fibromyalgia, well, all sorts of things. They can all trace their roots back to this. And this is medically proven. This is not controversial stuff. It's just ignored by the mainstream, that it is childhood trauma, deprivation, that creates all of our modern ailments that we're so diligently trying to undo, but we don't look for their actual cause. That is the cause. So she, Isabel, let's say. So I really felt for her expressing that, and I do feel like very few can relate to her utterance about that perceived or actual dysfunction, lack of development of a healthy ego. I feel like truly, like I've never developed a functional person. Jonas, by the way. Oh, not Isabel. She's a sage. Well, there's a man in love, huh? I love hearing. Yeah, she's a wonder, indeed. But so are you. And you didn't, and it's okay, right? Which perhaps you can understand why I'm not letting you do one now. Certainly not a spiritual one, because you don't need it. To instead truly embrace your life as it actually is difficult, because the ego is in a relationship with it. It's an unhealthy relation, right? It's not functioning very well for you. It's an argument with everybody, and the body's sick, and all of that. But if you can just completely embrace your life as it is, right? See, the unhealthy ego needs conditions in order to feel okay. As that ego gets healthier, it really is just a more centered and grounded sense of self that isn't so dependent upon the conditions. And suddenly the lack of health in your body will no longer be any kind of there'll be no belief there that says, in order to be whole, I have to have the whole body. In order to know who I am, in order to be fully, spiritually. And if I get spiritual, then then the body will. It's not, so I must not be there yet. And all of that can just fall away. You are functioning, right? You're not in Section 8. There aren't people showing up to give you meds. You're on the path, right? And you're getting it. Right? You're witnessing healthy egos. That is a healthy sense of self, right? That is emerging in all the people in the class around you, and in the sangha, and in you. Right? I see it in you. Right? It may not seem like a huge change to you, but it is to me. And it's simply just allowing yourself to continue to surrender, continue to let go of trying to figure it out, let go of all of that accumulated knowledge, and you'll become more sensitive as to how the sense of self is just wants to hold on to something, wants to attach to something, wants to take a position, right, against the system, right, or or just transcendent in some way. And it doesn't diminish the depth of the spiritual knowledge that you actually do have. Because remember, the sense of self, the ego, attaches itself to something that's really there. So there really is an understanding there in you. It's just clouded now. And that understanding will give rise to what we call a healthy ego, which is really just an emerging sense of that is natural and authentic, that just recognizes I am. And because I am, that makes me valid. So, how's that? Yeah. Sorry for filling the chat. No, not at all. Not at all. You were remarkably brief, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. And Sage Isabel, thank you for allowing him to do that. May, thank you for your answer, G. There are a lot of natural inclinations and qualities that were often used and abused by others or seen as a threat. Yeah, oh, tell me about it. Beginning to feel safe to own them in a healthy way. Where's the rest? Where's it? Nothing to apply. Yes. Yes. Oh, you're beginning to. Got it. Right. It wasn't a preposition. It was a full statement, a full sentence. Yeah. You are. Yeah. And just be patient, my love. Just be patient. You know. Yeah. We're going through it. Going through it together. You're not alone. You're not alone in this. Don't want anybody to be in a hurry to get somewhere because it. Don't be in a hurry to get where you already are. That may sound just like some kind of weird non-dual mystical thing that G is throwing out there, but it's kind of the we're discovering what we already are. We're not acquiring stuff. So don't be in a hurry. Let the process unfold. Like earlier, we were talking about, something just opens up and draws us to it. We don't even know why. Right? I call that grace. And that which started the process will take it to its conclusion. It's not going to okay, got going. You're on your own. It's like, the mother turtle eggs, hope you make it to the ocean. Good luck, kid. It's not like that. Every single step of the way. One of my favorite Rumi quotes, the power that brought me here must bring me home. It must bring me home. So, nay. Nay, nothing to apologize for, says Isabel slash Jonas. Gerald says, I understand with the heart, yeah. Oh, how I wish I could meet some of you all in person. I really do. I really do. Let's see. I pray that a physical live event will happen. Really wish I could meet you face to face. Me too, guys. Me too. Well, there's a few people in Sweden, Denmark, that area. Maybe we can get together enough of a group somewhere where I can get there. Yeah, there's. Let's see. There's Ella. There's Ida, who's here. Oh God, there's some others up there too. Can't think of them right now. Oh, I can't think of their names right now. But yeah. Yeah. TV, sure. I would like to become part of the EFT group. Please share the link that how I can become a member. Okay. Does anybody know? Have tell you what. Here, send it to support at school.co. Yeah, just send me that email, then I can get it for you. Yeah, I'll be starting a new level 1 group. Oh, in a few days. No, a few days. I mean, in a few weeks. I really need this time. It was. It's not just the time it takes. It's just the amount of focus of attention that I just kind of need to let myself. My natural state is not focused. So one. Oh yes, Tavi, you. Yeah, my friend. I look forward to it. Would be a beautiful, Daryl. I don't want to miss out on hugging and being with GP in the flesh at least once before I'm done with this round body on Earth. Many thanks, GP, for addressing my concerns. Very welcome. Exactly. Sean, my friend, I realized I probably maybe didn't hear me. I've been on retreat the last 3 days. It just ended this morning. That's why this is late today. That's why I didn't see you had scheduled a one-on-one with me yesterday, and I missed it. Terribly sorry. I'll send you a link that you can just reschedule without being charged again. So I'm terribly sorry about that, my friend. I really should block these things out better. Christina, I'm experiencing a 3-hour sangha today. Yes, you very well might be. Yeah. Because I'm not running out of steam quite yet. Sean, thank you, G. The perceived is not me. I'll take it to heart even more. I can be pig-headed and think I know it. Oh, you pig-headed types. Oh, you're after my own heart. Yeah. I look. We've all got some areas that are just encased in stone. They just don't want to budge. Right. We have a lot of pride and knowledge and the like, but the universe, God, some ways of kind of breaking the stone, as gentle as possible. Doesn't always feel that way, but it's always, you know, the hit that comes from the cosmic 2x4. It's when you're hit by the stick of the master, it is filled with love, and it's very precise, and it's meant to crack. Crack you open. But remember, we're really attached to these things. We think that somehow we're going to become free with these things because we don't know that those are the things that are causing the suffering, and they're the cement feet we have. We just don't know it. We have to be shown. And sometimes that showing is like, whoa. Sometimes you will see some stuff about yourself that will bring on oh my God, a lot of face palms. Yeah. I've had more face palms in my life than I have had revelations. Just to put it all in perspective, right? So if you're out there, with I want the great enlightenment experience. Yeah, well, get used to this first. Hey, wonderful. Thank you. You're very welcome. Sasha, hi G. I do understand that I'm not the body nor the mind. I know that there is this something is aware of what I'm thinking of, what I'm seeing, etc. My question is, I do understand this as knowledge, but why don't I experience it yet? Oh boy. I would love to get you in the self-inquiry Sangha, Sasha. If you're interested, that same email I posted for the EFT, it'll get to me, and I can give you that. It's not that you're not experiencing it, right? What it is that in our minds we have this idea of what the experience is supposed to be like, which is, we have our ideas of what is it like if I'm enlightened, right? Which is an idea, right? It's a concept, right? And so we're comparing my experience. Well, that's not that. Well, so I'm not there yet. So there's always some argument going in our minds as to why we're not there yet, when the truth is you're already there. Now that seems, how in the world do I assert that I'm already there? Well, you just let it in as a possibility that it's not that you're not experiencing it, it's just that you're misinterpreting the experience you have. You think what you're experiencing isn't it, and you're looking for what it is. Right? But really be clear that, okay, I'm not the body. That is, I'm aware of the sensations. Right? This is real. I don't want you to discount this. I'm aware of the bodily sensations. And that's really all I know about the body, right? I know the five senses, which are sensations that I'm experiencing in consciousness. Even the idea of a physical body, physical world is really a concept. What I know for a fact is I'm experiencing these range of things that I can call the senses or sensations. They're constantly changing, and I am perceiving it. Right? Now, notice, that's not an intellectual understanding, right? It's not just knowledge. You can see it. There's also knowledge there, right? Which is okay, but it's not just theoretical, right? You're looking at, well, yeah, this is actually what's happening, right? I'm really having this experience of witnessing the sensations. Same thing with emotions, same things with thought, right? So that is happening. Now that's direct experience, right? So let's just sit there for a second and go, yay, not conceptual. This is a direct experience, self-validating. I don't need anybody else to confirm that for me. Right? Now, there's still, though, a sense of there being some kind of a person there, a separate entity, that is the one that's aware of those. Okay, that's good. This is good. Now, because now we're focused in the right place. We're now looking at the stuff that's in between that which is perceiving and what is perceived. There's a sense there of being a person. Now, but that's there too. Now, this is where it's all mixed up, because I have this idea of myself that I am somebody who's not the self, and I'm trying to get to the self, and which is a good thing. It's actually a very healthy sense of self, a very healthy ego, because it matures. It becomes more compassionate. It gets the sattvic character about it, right? So it's contemplative. It takes care of others. It's less selfish, right? All great qualities that are developing, all while your heart is leading you towards something beyond what you've been experiencing, identified as a person. So the experience has been being filtered, buffered, and colored by this idea of me being a separate self. So we can address now the fact that I'm really having these experiences. I'm not seeing all my experience completely truly, because I'm looking at it through these distorted lenses, right? But I do know I'm here, right? Now that's not conceptual knowledge, is it? I know I am, and I know I'm perceiving, and I know that I'm different than the things that I am perceiving. And now it can get even subtler that there's a sense there of something missing, but I'm perceiving that too, aren't I? There's this experience going on there. And it at a place like this, because it is much more subtle, the mind's going to be jumping in, saying, "Well, it's just intellectual knowledge. It's not what your real experience. Your real experience should be like lights and rainbows and dolphins or unicorns or something, or it's supposed to be angelic beings." There's some idea, right? Or maybe it's something like an experience we heard about, like Ramana Maharshi or Nisargadatta. Well, Nisargadatta didn't say anything about his. We've heard the stories, right? The Hollywood version. That's the special. That's the effect of awakening. That's not the awakening. That's how it appears, right? And the influence it has over what has been awakened from. Right? So I want you first to recognize that you're way further along than you think you are. The mind, the thing is that your mind really wants to control it. It wants to understand it. It wants to make sense according to its model. But its model cannot perceive you. It can't perceive the truth. Right? So we'll go from there. I really want to get you into the self-inquiry sangha, so we could, it would be on Zoom. We could interact. We could hit some fine points. But the first thing to recognize is that, I am experiencing it, right? Because you are, right? I am. You know that for a fact. It's not conceptual. Nobody had to verify it. It's self-verified. Right. Well, that's a real experience, and that's really you. Now, the thing is that I know that I am, but I don't know what I am, who I am. That's okay. That comes, right? Well, actually, it disappears because you can't know. It's nothing that can be known like that. But yet you can see how that's what we're kind of, I want to know who I am, but that means I'm trying to find an image, a concept, an idea of myself, but there is none. Yet your actual experience of yourself, which I simply am, is really experienced, but there's no concept there. So stay with that. Just stay with the fact that, okay, I know that I am. And if I can perceive it, it can't be me. So even this subtle energy, this desire, right? And these thoughts that say, I understand this is knowledge, but, well, that's not me either. That's just a thought. Which means I can completely dismiss it. I don't have to answer that. I don't have to answer the mind. I don't have to give it a satisfactory answer. I don't. Because I am. Right? And the true understanding, which will satisfy that craving, that is not just knowledge, or it's real knowledge, jnana knowledge, must come from that place that where you are. Where else is it going to come? It's got to come from there, because that's you. How's that, Sasha? David Lilly, deep thanks for your answer, G. At some point in the process of inquiry, all words fall away. Yes. Their limitations obviously exposed. Yes, they do. Right. But don't cling to that. Yep, they've fallen away. And then be there, oh God, I hope they don't come back. Just, no. If they come, they go. Right. What about you? Where are you? You are beyond words. And you're also beyond the absence of words. Jonas, yes, this is the only way for me through life. Yeah. Ha! Yes, I do think it's possible. Good, 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 good. Yes, it is, my friend. It is. Again, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Yeah, I put the screws to you, and it comes through. Bless you, Nay. Nay, such a lovely session. It was nice today, wasn't it? There's the support at homeschool.co. Anybody interested in the classes, I highly recommend them. That's what I want. I don't do much of what I used to do. I just want to focus on this bridge between emotional healing and non-dual self-inquiry. And I find that most need both. Oh, look at that. Oh, somebody gave me somebody. I turned that on. I still haven't figured out how to get the money out, but I'm getting closer. Thank you. Thank you for that. Ida, there you are. Ida, Ava, what a beautiful tea today. Thank you, G. Not sure if that link works. What link is that? The support at homeschool.co. Support. Did I spell it right? It should. Miss Nay, we detach from suffering-based conditioning via releasing suppressed trauma and changing beliefs. You don't have to change the beliefs, love. They'll change by themselves. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Because then the mind's going to go, oh, what do you change it to? Don't worry. We're not interested in beliefs. Right? We're interested in what's true. You are not a belief. Who you actually authentically are, the real you, and all those wonderful qualities are not a belief. They're really you. You don't need to believe this. Right? However, we do need to disidentify and disconnect with the suppressed trauma. Right? And we're living suffering free, reduced suffering, or close to doing so. So does the nervous system rebel? I feel like I'm suffering less, close to living suffering free, almost like a final hurdle, but there's a lot of resistance. Yeah, it's not that it's working against you, right? But remember, the nervous system has organized around a sense of identity, right? And a set of beliefs and assumptions that you are challenging, right? Hence, that's why the approach I take is so very gentle. I never assert anything. I don't say, got to change a belief. Because that's just like, because it's protection. We're just about making it safe, right? That's it. You have to make it safe. The absence of safety created the trauma. Presence of safety releases the trauma, and little by little, the nervous system reorganizes itself and adapts to an environment that is now becoming increasingly safe for it. That means there's no immediate danger. There's no emotional danger. I have some freedom to let some of the real me come out. And those aren't beliefs. You don't have to learn how to do that. You don't have to learn how to be you. You simply have to remove enough so that it's safe enough for you to come out and be. And there will be times all along the way where you'll hit a new level and that resistance will come up. So there are our final hurdles, followed by a nice period of reorganization, rest, and the like, and then go a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper, until finally you're all the way out. Because it isn't infinitely deep. You are. The real you is infinitely deep, but the conditioning is not. And it very much has an end. Yeah. So, GP, the conditioned self disappears. Where does motivation come from? I'm out of work over a year, and that's okay. Besides joining a monastery, I have no idea what to do next beyond being. Is this enough? Do whatever comes to mind to do. Right? You're obviously not doing nothing. You're not just sitting there all day. Don't with the sense of an ego gone, it feels like motivation is gone because that's been driving things. So, but it settles into a bit, and life is not stagnant, right? I'm not doing nothing. I'm busy, just stuff going on all day, except when when I'm just like being, right? Which feeds the rest of it. But just if there's an inclination to get a job and do something, just do it. Just do it. Follow it. If it's an impulse, follow it. If it leads somewhere, great. If it doesn't, that's also great. So you don't need motivation like, I've got to go do something, right? There's a very natural sense of doingness happening. You're learning to do without becoming the doer. Right? It's a beautiful, there's a beautiful line from the Tao that says, "The master does nothing, yet leaves nothing undone." It's all how you go about it. So do anything. Just do whatever comes. Don't, if there's something in particular you're interested in, just do it. Just try it. See what happens. Right? If you need to make some more money, then your choices will be limited to those things that will make money. But still, do dog walking or anything, just anything. Right? I've done cat sitting. Right? You need to have, put some more in the savings. I did cat sitting. It's great. It was it was fine. I've done satsang from where I was cat sitting. A lot of you have seen me, Lucy and Tiki, right? So it doesn't have to have this clear direction. The ego wants a clear direction because it wants identity. It has identity attached to what it's doing. It wants to find something in there that gives meaning and purpose to it. So there's motivation there without the ego. There's just the natural functioning of life. The tree has no ego, does it? Yet every day it gets up and grows leaves. Doesn't mind entering into the winter. Well, these are all evergreens, but the ones that are perennial, that just kind of shrink back. Leaves all die. They just sit there. But you know what's going on? During the winter, when nothing's happening up here, the roots are getting bigger. The roots are growing. Then comes spring. It's this beautiful cycle that's happening. So give yourself permission to just do whatever the fuck you please. See what happens. Go someplace, sit, read a book, have a cup of coffee. Nope, have a latte. So, yeah. Well, I could say more about that, but just let yourself be drawn to whatever you happen to be drawn to. Don't worry about motivation. And when the thought comes, oh, it's just what your ego wants, go. Just don't pay any attention. The ego doesn't want anything really, because the ego is just an energy that grabs onto other things. It doesn't really have anything. You have a desire, natural, innocent, pure. The ego, which is a sense of self that is inherently unstable and unhappy, grabs onto this and says, this is going to make me happy, and turns what in fact is just an innocent interest into like, it's like me going from just, I loved music. I was just inspired. It was wonderful. And I got to be a star. That was it. That was the ego commandeering the natural, what was natural, to put it to its purposes, right? Which is to try to give itself what it cannot actually ever know. And that's stability, contentment, happiness, a sense of peace, because it can't know itself, because there's nothing there to know for it to know, and it's not you, it's just a thought. So let yourself just trust your own natural inclinations, and don't worry whether they go somewhere or not. It's not important. Right? And the tiniest little motivation to do anything, just go ahead. Just go ahead. See what happens. Yeah, got to get out of this idea of that we have to be these. That there's a correct spiritual behavior. Well, I'm spiritual and I'm not well behaved. Fucking A. Yeah. Don't be intimidated by what's next, by what to do. Don't be afraid of it either. Just let things happen. You'll find eventually that there's a doing, but there's no doer. You can call it just happens, but from another perception, something's doing something. Right? But from your perception, as Buddha said, there's a road, there's a walker walking on the road, but there's no traveler. How's that, buddy? Jason Lance David. Hey, G. Hello to you. Sorry, you're just wrapping up here. So you got a question, get it in fast. Oh, Carl, thank you. Super sticker. Yeah. Thanks to Audrey, I actually have this on here now. I think I might actually. Yeah, something keeps getting messed up. I never get the verification of the bank accounts from Google. Been at that for 5 years, but it'll work. 100%. 100%. Nay, a lot of resistance being felt in the legs, the right one in particular. Seems like fear resistance to move forward and take necessary actions to do so. Good. So don't force it, love. Don't force it. Right? It's really important. I'm supposed to do something. No. No, you're not. No. Yeah. Just notice, there's a fear to moving forward. Just be with that fear and go, of course I'm afraid. When you were little, what happened? Every time you tried to do something, wham, you ran into something. Of course it's going to go. It's going to be reluctant. So just rub your legs, stretch them. Say, it's okay, guys. Here, let's go for a walk in the park. Right? And this idea of moving forward in my life, throw that nonsense out. That's another. You don't need that. There's a natural motion in life, right? And your legs are part of that. That's all part of the first chakra, by the way. The first chakra is not this spinning red vortex of light at the base of the spine. The first chakra is the body. It is all physical manifestation. So it's all about safety. It's okay. And just keep checking it. Don't make it a problem, because it isn't. It's reluctant to move forward. It's not that it doesn't want to. It really does. The body wants to move. Maybe it needs to dance a little bit first, right? And again, just like I was telling Carl, don't turn it into like the life's work and stuff like that. I've got to do, I've got to find my place in the world. Oh, you don't have a place in this world. This world doesn't even exist. You have a place, right? The place is right here in yourself. You have a place in the infinite, an eternal home. And that eternal home is not stagnant. It's just not, it is constantly unfolding. It's the mystery, the whole mystical nature of it. It is in constant motion, bubbling, unfolding like a flower that never stops opening, and yet it never changes. You'll never figure that one out. Just look. I My whole life has been around me. Everything's changing. My thoughts, my body, my emotions, my life, everything. Mine's changing. Yet, I can feel this not changed at all. The hub of the wheel doesn't move. And yet, it loves the wheel. Alrighty. Thank you so much for fucking much. It's fucking. Yeah, it's always going to say fucking. Fucking. Fuck it. It's a great. Maybe you've seen my fuck it EFT video. If we're having a beautiful day. Thank you, Jason. I think we are. Daryl, see, that's why I love you, Gene. You're just real. Yeah. Yes. That's all there is. That's all there is to it. It's not to be anybody. There's no special spiritual behavior that we have to adopt. You'll find that the more authentic you are, you just become gentle. You just become. It's just you, right? The right use of profanity is a powerful healer. It is. What can I say? What can I say? It fucking works. Yeah. All right. I am going to cut it now. Less than 3 hours though, Christina. Did you see that? I must be late there. Yeah, I must be late there. All right, everybody. Oh, thank you for being here. Just wonderful. Just wonderful. Thank you. All right. Till next time. Namaste all.